Good evening, ladies and menfolk. Welcome to The Kirby Show. No, wait. It's the Word Ninjas live show. Episode 74, I think.
70-something.
70-something.
And confirm personally that it is episode 74, as I'm the one who made the show notes this week.
Yeah, Reality Man took control.
Take control.
He does that from time to time when we get distracted. But if you have not noted, well, I forget if it actually shows the little preview icons for all the people anymore.
Doesn't.
Well, that's stupid. Well,
I
then,
agree.
for all the people who are watching, I am your instigator of literary and creative insanity. No productivity at the moment, just insanity, because convention in like 3 days. So yeah, I'm Charles. Joining me tonight is, come on, Will/Kirby.
Hello.
And a Justin.
I'm also here.
And an Ed.
Oh, hi.
And
I'm kind of here.
Skipping over the other little icon, and a Calvin.
What they said.
I was going to say we have the full crew tonight, but then I realized the stupid little icons probably don't show up for viewers. And for the audio listeners, it wouldn't really matter anyway, so I have to actually specify it. Yay, learning.
You did this 74 times.
Well, they keep changing things is the problem. Google keeps
You Google
fiddling with
Hangouts.
stuff.
I'm just glad it still works at all.
I did notice that there's like a 2-second delay when I actually select someone's little icon so they show up on the big screen, so
Ah,
it's probably because I'm running 2 computers at the same time on the same router, and that gets cranky sometimes.
you should set 1 to 2.4 and 1 to 5.0 gigahertz.
I would assume he has a dual band.
I do.
Aha.
Next time.
Excellent. Learning.
We're professionals. Because we keep on doing this. So we gotta learn eventually.
We'll get it right by episode 125 or something.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But until that episode, you have to deal with this one. And if you are new, we start things off with weekly conversation topics, and or just random things that we like to talk about. And the first topic on the list in the show notes is from Justin, so I'm going to hand it over to him and select him so everyone can see him on the big screen.
Yay. So, last week I went to the library with CJ and spent some time there, and was going through some notebooks and my computer and realized that I have a problem and I need help. And then I decided on this topic, unrelated to the previous sentence. So the topic is organization, analog versus digital. Whether you write notes in a journal or writing notes in your various software, you know, your Evernotes and your OneNotes and various other task management, syncing to the clouds. Just kind of want to talk about what people use and why they use what they use, and if they'd like to use something else or if they've ever experimented. For me, my bad handwriting, even bad for an engineer, has kind of prohibited me from using analog all too much. And I think one of the issues probably is that I don't really have a good pen, and I've been writing most of my stuff in my journals with really thick, glossy paper with pencil, which is probably not a great medium for notebooks. So I should probably switch to a pen at some point, but what happened growing up is I was right-handed, and my insanely religious kindergarten teacher decided that left-handed people were evil. So she wanted to make me not evil, so she forced me to write with my right hand. So now I write like crap with both of my hands, unfortunately, which is not helpful. So my handwriting is atrocious, and I've been trying to find resources on improving my handwriting, but there's not a whole lot out there. Um, so I've been mostly doing digital, uh, mostly sticking with the Evernote or Google Keep, depending on how much data I need to store at any given time. And then I've got, syncing across multiple devices, which is handy. But I'd really like to get personal and do more analog journal writing. And I've been starting to do that this year, and I think I need a good pen. Maybe any of you analog people can chime in on the pen thing during our discussion. And then also, besides just your portable journals and your laptops, there's also, your various whiteboards and cork boards and pinup boards. I don't know if any of you do like a design board, coming up with anything, or if you just do whiteboard. I use a whiteboard at work for a lot of things, and I used to use a whiteboard somewhat at home for when I'm trying to outline my novel, but I've been doing that on paper lately. So yeah, I've been using a variety of things, and I haven't really figured out what I want to use going forward, which is kind of why I brought up this topic. I wanted to hear what other people use, and especially analog versus digital or a mixture of the both.
Okay. Checking the comments, apparently Justin has like a 2-second echo going on, at least to the viewers, but to me he sounds fine. So I'm going to just blame Google.
I wonder if it's when you do the screen share specifically on me.
Actually, there's a comment that came up, you're fine. He actually had it playing in 2 windows.
Oh,
that'll do it.
Hooray! Not our problem.
Hey, I did that in like episode 20 or something. So, you're not alone. In regards to analog versus digital, for pens, I have 2 standby brands. My preferred one is, that's not going to show up clearly, but it is the Pilot Varsity fountain pen. They're not refillable, but they're pretty good, straightforward fountain pens. They have a nice solid flow to them. You can get them in a variety of colors, but as with disposable fountain pens, do not share them because everyone else will just kill the nib and you'll never be able to get the flow right again. I learned that the hard way.
Oh, so that's how one of those ended up in my house.
I apologize for nothing.
This isn't a fountain pen.
That's probably my nano pen that ran away from me.
Yeah, fountain pen. I don't know. I haven't even mastered a ballpoint pen, let alone a felt tip pen or a, God help me, a fountain pen. I have used a fountain pen in the past, but I think it was mostly for art and not for writing, so I was allowed to be kind of crappy with it.
I was going to also say my second favorite one is a felt tip pen. This one is just from Sharpie. It's a fine point felt tip pen, but
I'm always afraid of bleeding with those.
If you have just normal weight printer paper or decent weight paper, there's not really much bleed through. It's only if you're having the cost-effective printer paper that it becomes an issue.
What about, handmade leather-bound journals that use like the recycled paper?
That's a crapshoot.
Because it's thick, but it's also extremely porous, which I'm always afraid of.
Yeah, that's why it's a crapshoot. It's best to do a test on one of the back pages or just in a little corner, see how the bleed-through effect is.
How quickly does it dry, too? Because I smudge the crap out of everything the way I write.
With the felt tip, within a second. With the fountain pen, depends on how porous the paper is. Yeah, that can take a little while. I've smudged my writing with those before without realizing it. I have yet to find a decent ballpoint pen that I like because eventually the flow just gets screwed up because it travels in my pocket, it travels across states, on airplanes. Airplanes kill everything.
Thank you, pressure changes.
Airplanes have managed to kill my Fisher Space Pen, which it should
Wow.
not be able to do.
I have one of those. It's amazing.
Without fail, every time I brought one of those on a plane, it's killed that cartridge.
Note to self.
Yeah, I don't understand how that's even feasible considering what the Fisher Space Pen ink cartridge is and how it's designed. It like defies physics to be able to do that. Or to be able to be messed up like that. So I don't know.
So would you say you write more in journals and paper than you do digitally?
For my personal writing, it's mostly analog, with the exception of the Slash and Burn novel, which is entirely digital at the moment, not counting all the hard copy printout stuff. And for work, since I just got a book request to work on for that, that's going to be pretty much digital as well.
Yeah,
'Cause I
digital
don't-
makes editing a lot easier.
Yeah, putting it all in Microsoft Word, tossing it all on the server, having a naming convention so we all know just what version is what. It's the easiest way to go when we have multiple people in multiple locations working on something.
I also have a problem with analog journals, especially when I get a new journal, is breaking the seal and writing my first thing and tainting it. I like the look of a new journal, but I should really get used to the idea of a messy, awful-looking journal because that has soul. It's like an old saxophone. You don't want a shiny new brass saxophone. You want a weathered, heavily used saxophone to get that great sound. I think journals are like that, and I need to get over my fear of using a journal.
My problem is that I kill my journals before I finish them. They do not hold up to all the travel and just tossing it in a bag or tossing it in my pocket, carrying it around, conventions. It just never ends well. I have yet to find a durable enough notebook to handle all of that. Even Moleskines haven't really held up as much as I expected them to, which is disappointing. Either that or I'm just really bad with notebooks.
It's probably a little bit of both.
Probably more me than
Probably.
the other, but
I was going to say it. And then you have your Alpha Smart.
where is that? That's in the pile over there. Although I do have the power for it now. I keep forgetting I have that.
If only it wasn't so loud.
It's no louder than a typewriter.
If only it wasn't so loud. So what does everyone else use for...
I feel cheap. I just use a Bic pen. They seem cheap, but they've never let me down, and they last forever. I've gotten to the point where there's no visible ink in this thing, and I'm still writing pages and pages with it.
Maybe it's a magic pen.
It would be nice to have a magic pen. I'd never have to worry about replacing it. Maybe it'd be easier to get the words out of my head and onto paper.
How's your handwriting?
A lot better than mine.
Better than a doctor's handwriting,
Okay.
but I have trouble reading it sometimes.
It's a lot
depending
better
on,
than mine, I know that.
Yeah,
And you know that too.
I do. I've had the chance to compare.
This weekend we should all write the same sentence and see who has the worst handwriting.
Oh God.
I'll
Maybe.
get it on-
I'm
I'll
willing
get
to
it on
bet I'll
tape.
be in the middle of that list somewhere. It all depends on how quickly I'm writing, where on the page. If it's close to the bottom of the page, my handwriting starts to get worse. But if it's towards the top of a new page, it's better.
Is it on lined paper or not?
Yeah, I need lined paper. College rule.
I need the one that has the dotted line in the middle so I can keep my lowercase letters in check. I think that's called elementary ruled.
And it all depends on if I'm writing cursive or not. And when I'm usually creative writing, it's usually cursive, which tends to be messier.
Oh dear, I have an evil, evil idea for this weekend.
Oh God.
We're going to be recording it.
Yes.
Yes.
Damn it.
Of course, now I gotta make sure I still have those.
What are you gonna make us do?
Oh no.
I saw the comment of the dip pens and replied accordingly.
Oh, there we go.
I'll have to
I-
test those.
I used to write with a literal feather back when I was a hipster middle schooler.
I still have one somewhere.
I used a feather quill once upon a time.
Mine wasn't that good because I think it was like a seagull feather.
Well, did you bother to sharpen it?
Nope. And the it's extremely hollow, so
Hmm.
constantly pouring the ink out again.
Oh, I was about to say, you may be saved. I can't find the actual pen, or the nib pens, but found them. So,
Yay!
oops. Oh, I still have green ink. Pen cleaner? When the hell did I get that?
Is that just acetone? I'm
It
guessing
does not specify.
it's
it
probably
just-
just acetone.
It literally says pen cleaner.
Probably acetone, if I were to guess.
That would make sense. Regular black ink. Now I remember why this drawer was dangerous. Red ink. And a little baby bottle of black ink.
What are you going through?
His ink collection. This is now the ink podcast, where we talk about various inks and pigments.
I get easily distracted. You should know this by now.
Do I have to get my dragon's blood?
Do you have
Maybe
to
I
get
should-
it from the dragon?
I declined to comment.
Oh dear.
Maybe I should just write everything in hand-carved stamps. May take a while.
Are you trying to do your own newspaper?
Yeah, I'll just do it. Well, that's why I got the typewriter. So maybe I just need to start writing all my notes on that, my grocery lists, everything.
That would actually be kind of cool. Ah, I need the right window.
I'm not putting that comment on air.
Which one?
That one.
That one.
Behind the scenes podcasting. Audiences love that, I hear. Calvin, what about you? What's your note-taking habits?
I'm pretty sure I've given this answer at least 7 times throughout the life of this pod.
Oh,
Did we just lose a Calvin?
he cut out for me.
Oh, great.
Oh, no.
No, there he is. Now he has to start speaking again.
Err.
Now?
Yes.
Again, I'm pretty sure I've given this answer at least 6.
Really?
Google Hangouts is not your friend today, Calvin.
Apparently, he's not allowed to answer the question.
He's already answered it enough times.
He's trying, and the worst part is that the first part of his answer is, I've already answered this so many times, and here I'm going to clarify it for you, and then it cuts out immediately.
It's meant to be an eternal mystery.
Either that or it's forcing people to listen to the older episodes to find out.
Oh, diabolical.
Calvin actually writes in ancient eldritch runes.
All right, can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. It's extremely spotty. We can only hear you when you ask if we can hear you.
This is going to be so much fun to edit.
We're going to cut this whole section out.
Richie is going to cut this whole section out and then swear at me afterwards.
Oh, so we only have one topic today, led by Charles Schumer. All right, I'm going to assume that Calvin uses mostly...
Evernote.
Eldritch Runes.
In Evernote.
Well, here's the thing. If he's writing music, I don't think he's going to be writing that in a digital thing. Well, maybe. They've got boards and stuff, I guess. Probably write it out by hand. This is a fun game guessing what Calvin's trying to say.
Quick, do charades.
Or type it in the chat and have someone else read it.
That's actually a decent idea. Then we can at least move forward. Evernote, yes. He uses Evernote for everything, in all caps. Got it. Evernote is his life. And they're not a sponsor, so this is the last time we'll ever bring it up again, unless they start paying us. He's about 90% digital at this point. So, Ed, when you're not drawing something and you're actually writing words, what do you use primarily? Nope, you're on mute. Try again.
Now I think everyone is just trolling Justin on purpose.
No, I'm trying to scroll between windows and answer comments and get one window to actually work long enough for me to answer comments. So forgive me.
Okay, can anybody hear this microphone?
Yes.
It's not so much the microphone, it's the connection. You've now cut out again. Also, it looks like you were just about to hurl something across the room in frustration.
I think he did.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Awesome. No, I get to see him at like 1.5 frames a second.
Well, while Calvin is going retro, Ed, how about you continue?
I use anything that's within my finger's reach. Journals.
Oh
Hey, I'll use my own blood if I have to.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No. Unfortunately, been there, done that. Not pleasant. My finger hurt a lot after that one. But yeah, I mean, I don't really prefer any one thing over another. It just depends on what my mood is that particular day. Like the other day, I was sitting down at the gas station and I had a 5-subject notebook and a little Bic pen, and I was happy and it was working. And other days, I'll sit there and stare at it. I'll put it down and I'll sit in front of my computer and I'll be fine, and just go right into it. Mine's strictly mood based. Although I prefer no lines.
I can see why. A lot of doodling involved in between all your words.
Yes. That's how I get this. That's how I get the little sticky ideas out of my head. I start drawing little pictures in the margins.
I'm guessing your handwriting is one of the better handwritings of the group.
Depends.
Compared to the group, not the world.
Maybe.
Like I said, we'll have that contest.
Well, see, then I'm going to be trying, because if I'm trying, my handwriting is actually really good.
See, if I'm trying, my handwriting actually becomes worse.
Can anyone hear me now?
Sort of.
Now you're just incredibly quiet.
Poor Calvin.
And now nobody can hear me.
We can hear you just incredibly quietly.
And your frame rate is still very bad, so I think your connection is still probably awful. You need better internet.
He does have better internets.
That's
He's
the thing that
got
sucks.
better internet.
Anything?
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot better now.
Until it cuts out entirely.
Am I still cutting in and out?
That entire sentence was clear.
All right, I'm gonna take advantage of this while I can.
Go, go, go. And he's gone.
And this is the episode that breaks Justin. And Calvin.
Oh.
We get a 2-for-1 deal.
So, I made a proclamation yesterday that when I
No
get
more
my
technical
house,
difficulties.
I'm going to convert my basement into a studio. And you are all invited. And we're going to get compressors. We're going to get super high-speed internet. And we're going to do it live all together somehow. But I need to pay off my student loans first and then buy a house. So it's going to be a little while.
We'll see which happens first, that or us getting a headquarters where we can just do all of that anyway, without you footing the bill.
Probably share internet costs or something. I don't care about the space. But anyways, on to the next topic. While Calvin rages in frustration in the background.
Oh dear. Alright, next talkie point. That one is mine. What is my talkie point? Oh yeah. How do you prioritize your reading list or book piles? This is relevant because
Extremely relevant for me as well.
I'm not going to move that computer so you can actually see, but I have an entire bookshelf and 3 piles of books next to the bookshelf, and the bookshelf is 2 rows deep just of books that I need to read. And then next to this computer, because they won't stop coming, these came in the mail this week. Yeah. These at least were justifiable, although I completely forgot they were coming, and I was incredibly confused when a very large box arrived. But I'm curious how other people actually figure out what to read next, or if they figure out what to read next, how to organize their books. How long do you hold on to them before you just give up in frustration and give them away? Stuff like that.
Well, as someone who has just gotten back into reading things that aren't Stephen King, I have been going through this myself. In fact, as recently as yesterday. And I feel like if you try to plan what book you're going to read next too far ahead, you're asking for a bad time, because your mood is going to change, your interests are going to change, and even as you're done with that book that you are currently reading, maybe you're so sick of that genre right now that you can't read anymore. I don't want to read the 7th Orson Scott Card novel in the series. I just can't do it.
But
I
they're
don't
so
want to
good.
read God Emperor of Dune. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I need
Well,
to
I'm
read
with you on
something
that one.
else. God Emperor of Dune is horrible. That being said, so I'm reading this book, and it's somewhat, I won't say critically acclaimed, but it's publicly acclaimed, according to the Goodreads. I'm sure there's a little bit of a high vote bias on Goodreads, so it's kind of hard to tell if something's actually good or not. But people are aware of this book, and they say it's one of their favorites, and it's a classic. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, this is pure garbage. I can't read this anymore. And after talking to CJ about what to do, he told me that it's okay. I'm allowed to stop reading a book that sucks awful and put it down and go get a different book. So I picked up, and this will come up later, I picked up Software and Wetware and started reading those,
Oh, God.
which are also, by the way, extremely critically acclaimed cyberpunk novellas.
By whom?
Goodreads, I guess. It's got like 2,000 people have read these books and rated them just
Good
on
lord.
Goodreads. So this series is a 4-book series, I found out, not just a 2-book series. And I read the first chapter of it last night, instantly hooked, loved it. There was character progression within the first like 2 pages, and it was moving right along. It was very Ernest Hemingway written, very short, curt sentences, and they made a reference to Hemingway in the first chapter, which I was like, oh, okay, so yeah, so this is on purpose. This is by design. But the characters that they introduce in like the first couple pages are intriguing, and you're like, and they like piecemeal the world at you, and you're like, what is going on? I don't understand. And then they give you just enough so you understand something, but then it doesn't make sense with this other stuff. So you keep reading, trying to unravel the world, and it's extremely compelling compared to the other crappy book that I was reading before. So I'm definitely going to finish reading that book. It's a very short book, and I decided to start with some of my shorter books before I get into my larger epics, because I'm new to this whole reading things that aren't Stephen King. And I'm going to actually start reviewing these books and picking out things from sentences and, actually writing notes on it. So I'm going to start a little bit small and work my way up to some of the series. And I'm going to switch around between sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. I think that's a pretty good deal. I'm going to try not to read an entire series back to back, especially some where the authors haven't finished writing them yet. So it would be good to give them some time. So that's kind of what I've been doing with the prioritizing my book list. Is I'm not doing that. I'm just grabbing when I'm done reading the one thing, I go grab the next thing that I want to read and start reading it. I even at one point had a tiered list, like I ordered them on my bookshelf in the order I was planning on reading them, and then when I moved the library from one room to another, I decided to order them in a more reasonable manner because I knew I wasn't going to keep to the order that I gave.
I think my bookshelf at the moment is just ordered in one shelf is groups of series where I'm missing one of the books or multiples in that series.
Perfect.
So I need to track the others down. Another shelf is finished series, so I have all of the books I need. I just need to read them. And then the rest is just a crapshoot. And this one I actually finished, thankfully. So 1 down, 50 billion to go. This one was actually really good. I hope to review this before the convention. I have a feeling I'm going to actually grab one of the 4 books that came in this week because this was from the C.J. Henderson Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I forget which one it was. So these are all the compilations that various authors put together during the fundraiser. And to be nice on my back, I'm probably just going to go with the smallest one. Because these things are heavy. And I haven't really done short stories in a good while. That and I have no idea what some of these are even about genre-wise. So never mind, they actually specify.
Yes, but CJ, I'd like to make a pact to stop going to used bookstores until we at least read 5 books.
You don't want more blind boxes of...
I haven't even opened that one yet. I want to save it. Also, there was another note that I had on reading books. Oh, did you set your Goodreads goal?
I need to do that. Just add it to my ever-growing to-do list.
Are you going to write it digitally or analog?
Where'd my pen go?
That answers that question.
Handwritten notes make things happen quicker than writing it down somewhere on a computer and then never looking at the file again.
Right, because you're just like, oh, I really want to throw this stupid note away, but I haven't done the thing on the note yet. So maybe I should go ahead and do that, and then I can throw the stupid note away.
Yeah, and I usually leave it near my computer, so I keep on seeing it and getting more and more frustrated by it.
Ah, stupid notes.
Same thing.
They're like giant steamrolled guilt monkeys.
It's actually how I organize my reading list. Proximity to my desk. The closer it is to me at all times, the more it bugs me, hey, I need to read that book. Otherwise, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, we took a wall in the main office in our apartment and turned it into basically a library. So it's got like an entire wall and a half of books. Most of them are my wife's books. She's a teacher, so a lot of them are hers. And a lot of them are written in Chinese, so it's not very helpful for me. But I did manage to steal 2 full, tall bookshelves from her, and they're filled with all my books that I need to read.
How do the others in the crew fare when it comes to reading and prioritizing, or lack thereof?
Ha ha ha, you're funny.
Yeah, we all know that you read like 3 books a day and you just plow through everything.
Please,
Stop making us jealous.
I haven't picked it. I can only do that with manga, okay? Everything else takes forever.
I kind of want to ask Calvin his opinion, but his stare scares me.
His body and fingers have been moving steadily throughout this conversation, so he may have fixed his internet connection. Or it may break as soon as he starts talking.
No, it kind of looks like he's gone into mafia mode, so that's a scary time.
I think you're muted, friend.
No.
Oh, okay.
On to the highlights reel.
I'm going to leave the scary Calvin alone. Moving on. What's next? Oh,
Now, did you do that on purpose, CJ? I'm reading
What?
the show notes on the highlights reel.
what?
The title for the news post? Or is that the actual title of the website?
Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, of course I did that.
I was wondering about that myself.
It's almost a pun, but not really. So I was like, it's not really play on words. So
Yeah,
for
it's good
the
enough.
listeners, the news title is supposed to be what comics are coming out in 2015, but CJ has decided to write what comics are comic out in 2015 instead. And I don't think
You
that's...
know me and spelling and words and whatnot.
Well, yeah,
English
comic
major
on the
and all.
mind, to be fair.
Alright, we're going to give this a test run.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes.
Remember, there's a 2-second delay.
Yeah, but for the audio listeners, I have 2 computers running simultaneously. One of them is going to be just for screen sharing, although I don't really see what the point of doing this is now that I realize that the little thumbnail images don't show up on the live stream anyway, so it's not like they're missing my face either way.
Actually, they do. I was running the live stream a few minutes ago, and I saw them on the bottom.
Oh, they do show up. Is that only on the live stream, but not the YouTube version?
Like I said, I went into the link. I think that came from. No, I went in
Somewhere.
through. I went in through my YouTube. Went into the full coverage thing, and then just clicked on our live stream thing, and it came up with all the little stuff on it.
Oh.
Well, we're going to try this anyway, regardless of what it looks like. For the audio listeners, this is irrelevant, and will probably be cut anyway because Richie will get frustrated with me. So, the first piece is from IO9 about the comics coming out in 2015. I was just kind of curious what they had in mind or what was really coming out and all that. There's a lot of standard stuff from Marvel and DC and even IDW and Image. You know, the regular ones, but I started seeing a bit of a trend with some of these in that stories that really should be done by now are coming back. Galaxy Quest, for one, is apparently coming back in comic book form. Now, while I loved that movie, I'm not quite sure why they need to turn it into a comic. And yet, if I have a chance, I'll probably at least take a look at it anyway, because I'm curious. And that one's from IDW, so the artwork's probably going to be pretty nice, too.
CJ, I don't know if you saw my message, but all I see is you right now. I don't know if that's... Is the screen share actually up and live?
I have it highlighted on my PC, which is screen sharing, and even on my Mac's screen, which shows the screen share, I can see the little notification saying it's screen sharing.
Okay. It's not showing up on my Google thing.
You may have
Theoretically,
to.
on the live stream, it's working for people. You might have to manually click on that little thumbnail image because you're in the Hangout.
Oh, weird.
Because Google.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted to make sure it was working for everybody. Continue.
Yeah, the live stream is showing it.
All right.
Yay.
That's all I need to know. Perfect.
Yeah, please don't just stare at my face this whole time.
That's kind of what I was doing.
Well, don't.
I won't.
Let's see. What else is coming out that caught my eye? I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, like the Spider-Gwen, because you can never have enough Spider-Man multiverse versions. That one's probably going to be at least entertaining. Could have sworn there was another one in February. Maybe, possibly. I looked at this earlier this week, so it's already out of my memory. Apparently Howard the Duck is also coming back, because why not? That's not until March, though.
Wait,
I blame
what?
Guardians of the Galaxy for that.
But
That Easter egg in the movie.
The star of the Guardians of the Galaxy's post-credits scene returns semi-triumphantly as Marvel's foremost private duck.
Is that really the description?
Well, it continues with Dick. Sorry. Yeah.
that didn't make it any better.
No.
Let's hope that the editors of this article wrote that and not the comic.
I'm sure it was IO9.
Okay. Still, shame on you.
Oh, yeah. In March, of course it's from Boom. That explains a bit. Bill and Ted's Most Triumphant Return. With the excellent adventures of both movies behind them, Bill and Ted decide to drop by the 27th century and see if they can stop their arch-nemesis Chuck from hating them.
Because God forbid you write something with an original IP.
I mean, I loved those two movies. It's a fantastic concept and little franchise, but is this really necessary?
No.
But there's money to be made.
That's a good point.
Mm.
People going through the store will see it and be like, hey, I know that thing. They'll be like upvotes on Reddit. Hey, there's a thing that I recognize. Upvote.
Mm-hmm.
Except with dollars.
Yeah.
The Fly is on this list.
The
Why?
Fly. Outbreak.
No.
Oh. The son of Jeff Goldblum's character has his father's mutation, but in
That's
his search for a
Fly
cure,
2.
he
They already made
accidentally
that movie.
creates a virus instead.
That's already a movie. It's called The
That-
Fly 2. That's the sequel.
Yep, that's the sequel. Though I don't remember anything about accidentally creating a virus.
You'll have to wait until March and check it out.
Or not.
IDW.
Why?
Uh,
I hate rehashed IPs in case anyone can tell.
I think there was at least one more in here.
It's going to make me
That's-
angry.
That's only. I don't think it's been done with this particular combination, but I'm getting a little tired of Archie versus anything. Archie versus Predator.
What the fuck the what?
It's the crossover no one ever dreamed they'd see, as a tropical vacation has unforeseen consequences when an extraterrestrial stowaway returns with Archie and the gang to Riverdale.
What?
Again, I say fuck the what?
Are we back in the 60s and 70s where everyone's doing cocaine?
Maybe.
Are we there again?
I think it's worse than
Actually-
cocaine.
Yes, we are, because you know what comes out in May? Fight
Nope.
Club 2. Also from Dark Horse. Dark Horse is on a roll this year.
Something like that.
God, I hope their manga line is doing better than their comics.
Arthur Chuck, I'm not going to pronounce the last name because I never can, finally returns to his most famous creation in this long-awaited sequel. Okay. The narrator has a kid with Maria, but Project Mayhem hasn't finished, and Tyler Durden isn't finished with him.
You know how we've been all laying up at night wondering when is the sequel to Fight Club going to be in a comic form and is going to be on shelves? I mean, I've been sweating at night. Daily.
May 2015 is the answer.
Is it May 4th? Because that's my birthday. Please be May 4th.
That would be hilarious. It doesn't specify. You'd have to go to Dark Horse's
Nope.
website, see their press release for when that comes out.
I've never been less interested in going to a place to
This
see
is
it.
making me as sad as when I saw what movies are coming out this year. They're all sequels.
Yeah.
Or rehashes.
Because money.
hmm
And beyond after that, it's just beyond. It doesn't have specific months, but all I see in bold
Bond.
is there's that, and also World of Warcraft,
hmm
also by Dark Horse.
hmm
Mhm.
Someone had to do it. It used to be Tokyo Pop.
Huh.
Well, they were kind of. I guess they were manga.
I'd rather it be a comic and manga than a feature-length movie, which is also
Oh.
happening.
You know what? Yeah.
You mean you're not
fine.
excited for the Toy Story
No.
4?
Reading the last paragraph of this, you know what? Just fine, whatever. I don't care anymore. I don't care about DC or Marvel's planned year-long events anymore because it happens every fucking year. They always have to have something that crosses every single book series that they have. It's not really unique anymore. It's not as fantastical.
But Infinite Universes, CJ.
Well,
Infinite Universes.
Well, apparently this year is the only thing we know about it is that it's called the Dark Side War.
Oh, great. That sounds so exciting and original.
I mean, granted, Darkseid is a fantastic character and villain, and there's a lot they can do with him, but
Well, he's never started a war, so, I mean, that's...
but the villain won't be fighting Earth's heroes. He'll be battling the Anti-Monitor. Wait, what?
What?
Wait, so it's actual Darkseid versus the Anti-Monitor, not necessarily the Justice League or any other DC superhero force against Darkseid.
Great. Super
So
exciting.
inevitably, it's going to be all the superheroes team up with Darkseid to take down the Anti-Monitor because reasons.
It's a Cell situation.
I mean, granted, I can't. Well, I've already complained about it, but I shouldn't complain about it considering some of the plot ideas I have for my trilogy. But I'm not going to make it that stupid.
And at least you have original characters doing the stupid things.
Yes. But yeah, that's the comics coming out in 2015, according to IO9. If there's anything you're looking forward to, by all means, post in the comments. What are you interested in seeing? I think it was in February, January. I missed it. There. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl actually gets her own comic book series. The most powerful superhero character in Marvel.
That is correct.
Hopefully that one's going to be at least an interesting series. They can have a lot of fun with that one.
Hey, anybody who's worked on Adventure Time, it's worth looking at.
Yeah.
Could be promising.
We'll see. And that is the comics coming out for this year, at least so far. Moving on to the other highlights, I decided to toss up Katie Sarge's website along with her latest book, Even the Score, because that's the latest one that came out, and it continues the Dreamverse series, and it is fantastic, and it's pointless showing this on my screen since I'm just a thumbnail. I read that in under 24 hours because it's just one of those types of books, and it's kind of a whodunit series or book, and people keep on dying, and you're trying to figure out who before you run out of characters, and I completely fell for the damn surprise. I was not expecting the killer to be who it was, and it's
Was
one
it
of those...
a butler and or a maid, by any chance?
No, it was a crazed, psychopathic space woman person.
Spoiler alert.
Well, there's more than one woman in the series.
Not butler, though. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I don't think she ever buttled. At least not in the book. But it was one of those situations where you finally get the reveal, and it's a god damn it moment, because the clues were there, you just didn't really connect all the dots.
So it also wasn't a Kaiser Soze situation?
Not really.
Okay, good. That's
There was still a nice little twist at the end to make it satisfying. And it's always fun to come back to these particular characters because they're hilarious together. Definitely worth checking out. And for the audio listeners, it's kdsarge.com was the author's website, and she has a books page on there with the whole series in not chronological order of when they came out, but like plot chronological order. Because she's not writing them in plot chronological order. Which is a little frustrating, but it happens. And next up for, I think, our YouTube highlight, specifically in the show notes, we posted a Let's Play, because that is a thing that happened over New Year's, and Calvin was disturbingly quick about actually editing it and posting it up. It is worth checking out because you get to see me attempt to do Octodad.
hilarious.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Does comedy ensue by any chance?
Those are some good cherries. We had some
Moonshine left.
100 proof cherry moonshine before doing this, and that included eating a couple of the cherries straight out of the jar.
And I think Calvin asked if there's any left.
Oh, you did hear me.
Yes, it's just Will was talking as well.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That particular bottle is no more, but I'm sure we can pick some up.
If only they sold that in stores.
I don't think they actually sell that one specifically in my store.
We can look.
I can go to Amity and check it out.
If not, we have apple pie moonshine.
Oh, then screw cherries.
Still want to try those cherries, though.
Just get a jar of maraschino cherries from the supermarket.
Not the same.
And that's basically what they were, only in moonshine.
The moonshine itself was delicious, though.
The cherries tasted like moonshine. The moonshine tasted like cherries. It was very confusing.
Now I definitely have to try this.
We'll take a look at the store and see if we can find it again.
And the last highlight for this week is your Minicon's Tumblr page, because I didn't realize that was a thing until last week. And since we're going there this weekend, I thought, why not?
Yay.
And it's also nice that they have been regularly promoting all the various vendors and events and stuff. And apparently a shield truck is going to be there, which is kind of cool.
That was at Rhode Island, but you couldn't get anywhere near it.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a better chance this time around. And a lot of the artists and our friend A&D Duct Tape. And I'm going to have to scroll another 30 seconds before our post comes up because it's considerably farther down, but definitely worth following if you have your own Tumblr. And who knows, maybe they'll be posting photos and stuff up during the convention so you can see just what's going on and all that stuff. Would be nice.
I know we will be, kind of, at least on our personal ones.
Yeah. And we'll be posting stuff on the FC Word Ninja Tumblr page.
I'll bring my camera with me. Whether or not I get to use it will remain to be seen, but it'll be there.
Oh, it'll get used. It will.
Definitely.
Oh my.
Just make sure to bring those audio recorders too.
Oh god.
Everything, well, just about everything is coming. Well, at least in terms of my AV hardware.
No comment.
Moving on.
Oh, god damn it.
The last highlight we have for this week is a website. I don't even know where I got this from. Probably from Scoop It. The Punctuation Guide. For those that are not familiar with what types of punctuation there are, they actually sort them out. Terminal points, like the period, question mark, exclamation point. I'm sad that they don't have the interrobang on there. A little disappointing.
Well, it's kind of there. It's just broken up.
Yeah, they got the elements, but not combined.
No Captain Plan.
No. Pausing points, which I never really considered it like that. Comma, colon, semicolon, the hyphens, N dashes. Other points, which just get a little confusing. Parentheses, brackets, slashes, apostrophes. I'm not quite sure why square brackets falls under quotations, but apparently it does.
I think for referencing who you're quoting.
Well, the nice thing about this is if you roll over them and you actually click on the darn thing, it'll go to an extra little page and tell you all about it.
Yeah, editorial stuff.
Ah.
How does the punctuation guide feel about Oxford commas? Since that was a topic of conversation earlier today before the podcast.
Let's see what's under commas. The listing comma.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there. The note.
The final comma is known as the Oxford comma or serial comma. See?
See, I didn't know you called it that.
I've only heard it as the Oxford comma.
Thank
Same
you.
here.
Plebeians. Some writers omit it, but doing so can cause confusion. In the example, blah de blah.
Yeah, there's a famous set of Wikipedia examples that
Yeah.
they have up there.
Even though not all sentences will be unclear with the omission of the serial comma, its consistent use is a good habit.
Yay!
You hear that, Associated Press? It's useful.
Suck it.
That's exactly what AP can do.
I personally despise AP style, but it is an academic and business style. So
It never occurred to me that that's what AP stood for. I feel really dumb.
It actually took me a long while to figure that out as well, so don't worry.
See, now I don't feel so dumb. Because I've known for a while.
But it's getting to the point where I'm actually probably going to have to buy the darn book so that I can know some of the weirder quirks about AP style, which is basically counterintuitive to my style. So I'm probably going to get a little frustrated the more and more I work on certain stuff. That's going to be fun.
Do everything Chicago.
I don't mind Chicago style.
Yes, I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Deep dish? I prefer New York style.
That's. We talked about pizza last week, Will, remember?
No, I wasn't here. My power went out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You missed Pizza Fest.
Okay.
Poor Richie.
To help Richie, the website for this is thepunctuationguide.com. Nice and easy to track down if you're not checking out the show notes while listening to this. Realistically, I don't think that many people actually would be checking out the show notes while listening to this. That would probably be a little odd, but you never know. And I'm going to take us off of that particular screen so I can actually check the show notes to find out what comes next, because I forget. Hey, it's stuff that doesn't need to be screen shared. So
It's Calvin's favorite section.
it's everyone's favorite section. It's the productivity highs and lows section. Yay. Yeah. My productivities for this week have been reprioritizing priorities. Basically tiering stuff of how desperately it needs to get done. Basically, my full-time job, this, and then below that, the local group, Richie's stuff, and then below that, everything else. Because otherwise, stuff is not going to get done when it needs to get done. And I have been tasked to draft a book for work on top of the book I'm doing for myself, on top of everything else. Yay. And I switched to reading a book I didn't hate.
No, that's my thing.
No.
Go back.
Scrolling up. Oh, that makes more sense. I coordinated the schedule for Libsyn updates. Yes, that makes much more sense for me.
I don't know why you started reading my list, but
I was looking for patterns. I wrote 3, apparently you wrote 3. No one else did write 3, so I just went with the first one I saw, and then the last
have
bullet
3.
point.
Will has 3. Are you even paying attention?
He's looking at the website.
I'm looking at the website, and I forgot to hit refresh because I updated it with that. This is what happens when I have stuff on 2 different computers.
Fair enough.
But yeah, you should be getting, for the audio listeners, you're going to be getting more regular updates on the audio stream with more current episodes. So as nice as listening to episodes 20 and 21 might be, you're actually going to be getting into the 60s and 70s by the time you listen to this one.
Sweet.
Nice. Catch up.
I already have a half dozen that I need to queue up. Most of them older, but several of them 75% old, 25% new. And we're going to try and get the newer episodes out on a more reliable basis as well. So this time we actually mean it because we actually have a schedule sorted.
Aren't those great?
Chances are on like episode 40, I've been saying like, yeah, we're going to get these up on a regular basis. You're going to be good to go. And then there's like a 30 episode gap. We're getting better at this, I promise.
We trying.
Yes. Hey, Will, how did you fare in productivity?
I'm going to include some of the stuff I put in last week because I didn't get to include it because the power went out. And it's very hard to be productive when you don't have any power. So Chapter 27 of Roommate went up, and I wrote the first scene of Chapter 28 and completed that over the past 2 weeks. So yay, for productivity there. I had recorded some gameplay. Not the Octodad thing, another thing. I'm sure once Calvin has the free time to handle it, it'll be up. No rush or pressure on that.
I'll probably post the one you sent me, the last one you sent me up this weekend
Ooh.
during some downtime.
So that should be entertaining, I hope.
Yeah.
Calvin said it was entertaining.
I thought it was. I enjoyed it.
Still need to figure out some fine details in recording, though, with frame rates and resolutions. And
That you don't really have to worry about so much because I found a solution.
Yay!
Things should get better from here. And we can ignore the fact that the Octodad video kind of unsynced for a little bit.
It was obviously because I had one too many cherries.
I'm just gonna blame it on the chef. And on side stuff unrelated to anything else other than fun work for me, I did some world building and unrelated character development. Yay! It's some kind of productive, even if it is just exercises in creation and stuff.
Yay, productivity and world building. I was doing that in the car on the ride home. And I forgot to write it down. God damn it.
You should
We
just keep
did it.
that voice recorder on hand, and when you're in the car, just like speak all of your thoughts into the voice recorder.
It's in my car. I think I just didn't have a convenient pocket handy.
Mm.
And you know all too well how fabulous that little recorder sounds in the car.
Mm.
And listeners will learn tomorrow.
Yeah. It's hard to edit out the sound of rushing wind. I could have removed it, but it would have only actually removed it from the blank spaces between you guys talking. When you guys spoke, the software wasn't able to remove it. So then it just was intermittent whenever you were speaking, and then not there in between speaking, and that actually made it worse.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be able to do some NSFWN recordings this weekend that do not sound like we put the recorder right next to a fan. Make things a little easier on you.
I
High
just
quality.
assumed you had a window open in the car.
Chances are it was the fan in the car
Hmm.
and the fact that we were going only a few miles faster than the posted speed limit.
Totally would have totally been legal on the Autobahn.
But we're not in Germany.
Shh.
God,
No one needs to know that.
that we're not in Germany. I think lots of people need to know that.
Everyone knows you have to drive through Germany to get to Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's just standard.
So I did some productive things.
Did you now? What sort of productive things?
Let's hear
I
about it.
also reprioritized priorities.
What? Copycat.
I did copy directly off of yours earlier today.
So that's why I was reading yours.
That probably didn't help. I decided that health and learning Mandarin are primary, and they're basically the things I do as soon as I come home from work. A couple days a week, I do my exercises and workouts, and a couple days a week, I do the Mandarin lessons. And then after I'm done with those things, then I start doing website management, which includes, but is not limited to, Inspire the Muse, my Mechanical Justin stuff. Eventually, Facing My Reality will get a resurgence, but that's not high priority right now. And then after that, it's pretty much everything else. So while technically the website management stuff isn't number one, it's going to be a daily thing as opposed to the health and learning Mandarin, which are alternating back and forth. So I'm basically going to be doing stuff involving Inspire the Muse basically every day. So that's okay. Speaking of website management, I came up with a sweet, awesome header for my website, my personal one, and spent way too much time working on that, considering the simplicity of what it actually ended up being. And then I also worked on coding a custom style for my Tumblr blog, which is going to be a style that's going to be shareable because I'm using meta tags. And I fell down a rabbit hole with that one. There's no JavaScript, though, so it's okay. It's pretty basic. Just standard CSS, HTML with variables shoved in everywhere I can. And then I switched to reading a book that I didn't hate, which I find amazing. And I talked about that earlier, so I won't get into it. But switching to a book that didn't suck totally really helped me out this week. and I'm excited. I talked to the wife, and we are going to take some time every day to actually do some reading. Just sit on the couch and read together, maybe to each other. Who knows how romantic it can get. So reading books that aren't awful.
Hooray. I probably got confused with that because I also have like 4 books in just a pile that I'm halfway through each of them, and I just rotate through when I get tired of one. Or at least that's the excuse I'm going with.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next up is Calvin, if he would like to comment. It's up to him.
If Google will let me.
So far.
All right. Yeah, I was going to try to be productive this past weekend, but between Friday evening and the time I got back from out of town Sunday night, I had a pretty epic anxiety attack. And that kind of killed any possibility of me being productive.
Yeah,
And also the fact that
anxiety
I was-
attacks are very good at that.
And there was also the fact that I was out of town visiting family. There was that too.
Yeah,
That
family
explains
can
the
be
anxiety
pretty-
attacks.
I don't know, that might have had something to do with that. I don't know.
Yes, but the pictures of your dad in the birthday hat were excellent.
Indeed.
He really does have an epic.
Epic mustache is epic. So instead of being productive, I survived the weekend with my family, which was actually a lot of fun. So I can't figure out why the anxiety attack kicked in.
They rarely have a good reason for being triggered.
Yeah, but I made the best of it, even though the trip home, it kind of got worse. Ooh, that was fun. I'll tell you guys about that after the show.
Oh my.
But I've been trying to make up for my lack of productivity over the last couple of days, especially with a looming deadline, which is tomorrow.
Fun.
But I think I should be good for tomorrow, though.
Hooray.
Like right after I get off this show, I'll chat with you guys for a little bit and then write all the music afterward.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Actually, I'm pretty well off, so I'm not worried. So
And how about Ed?
Hey, I have more productivity than I know what to do with, which is rare for me. Well, aside from, because we didn't get to talk about it last week, helping you with the Doomsday device, which looks amazing, by the way.
I like it.
I actually was working on I've been making good on the working with my hands stuff, so I ended up picking up my blankie that I haven't touched in like years, and I think I'm just about done with it now. Not too much left to do on that. I have been brainstorming ideas and poking for us, and I have stuff piled on the floor over here. Thank you very much, CJ.
Anytime. If you want more, just ask.
Later. I have a couple more cubes. I'm working on stock for this weekend. It's, of course, week before a con, I go crazy anyway. And I actually have a new product that we get to roll out this weekend, so that makes me happy. It's nothing crazy. It's just new.
newness is good.
Yes. I got to put some of my lingering embroidery floss to use, which made me happy. I had a big old bag of this stuff, and it had been sitting here forever, and I'm like, what do I do with it? And I came up with an idea. If you follow my artist's Tumblr, you've seen it, but I'm not going to actually show it off until actually, this weekend.
Hmm. Okay. Then we do this. And then the mouse dies because it's stupid. Then we refresh.
Stupid.
Okay. And now for the weekly inspiration segment with its shiny new title.
An inspired title, you might say.
Yes. My inspiration this week is musical. I've been figuring out the soundtracks for all of my 6 main characters. And that's actually been a lot of fun. Because it's been a while since I've played around with these characters, at least in this depth. So I'm actually getting back into their mindsets. Some of those are dangerous, but it's fun to figure out who likes what, who doesn't, how they intertwine with each other. And I actually got my main villain for the first book figured out on the ride home. That one's going to be a lot of fun. He's basically Malcolm Reynolds, only if he was actually legitimately evil. So that's going to be hilarious to write. And it helps that I have 2 CDs of the Browncoats music, which is very fitting for that.
Very nice.
And I'm amused that apparently Byrne just likes any remixes that involve the Beatles. Nothing else. She hates everything else. And Ivy, I always knew was country rock, but apparently she listens primarily to Gretchen Wilson, which I did not expect. And the overall protagonist, I guess it would be across the series, is a creepy little fuck. She listens to the weirdest, scariest music I have ever heard. I'm not sure I want to play with her.
We'll have to come up with a soundtrack for your whole novel.
I'm working on it. I'm slowly posting stuff onto a side Tumblr that I created just for this trilogy.
Nice.
Slash and Burn OST.
/andburntrilogy.tumblr.com, but close enough. That can be the hashtag.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my inspiration for this week. A whole gambit of different musical genres and styles for all my various characters. And next up is Will. Although I have a feeling he might give me a mafia stare. No, he's just going to stay muted, apparently. Because the mic doesn't want to play nice.
I'm inspired by silence.
Silence can be nice at times.
I haven't been inspired too much by anything past week or so. Kind of on a low, I guess. Other than like a couple friends poking me, do this, do that, or I'll bullshit say something and then be like, yeah, do it. Actually do it. And then I end up actually doing it. Like the world building was because I got poked actually. Take thoughts in my head and write them down, and so I did.
Hooray. Next up is Justin.
Like I mentioned before, reading a book that isn't awful. I didn't realize that I put that in both sections. However, I do have a second thing. I watched a really weird Korean movie called Kundo, which is like a Korean Western-themed Robin Hood movie. If everyone on Robin Hood's team dies at the end.
I think I've heard of this.
It is very weird, and the first third of the movie you're not really sure what's going on. You think it's an origin story to a different guy, but then that other guy, it turns out it's not an origin story, he's the new guy, and it gets very confusing. But then once you unravel it, and then it gets interesting. And yeah, there's some stuff in there that's pretty heavy that you wouldn't really see in American movies, like children getting hung and being shot with arrows. So that was different. You don't see that a lot in American cinema.
Hmm. Yeah,
And-
Korea's surprisingly good with movies being different.
So it's interesting because this is like it's not samurai movies. I don't think just because they all have katanas means that it's a samurai movie necessarily. But that being said, it's very clear that the director, cinematographer, and guy that did the score watched a lot of spaghetti westerns when they came up with this movie, because
Goodness.
it takes place basically in a desert, and there's lots of guitar stings and an overall like good, bad, and the ugly score. So that some of the things in that movie inspired me, and certain weapons that people were using that were unique and interesting, and certain character clothing designs and stuff I noted. So I would say that movie inspired me.
I'm going to have to see if I can track that down. I am intrigued. Next up is Calvin.
All right, so my inspiration for this week is the deadline that was looming over my head.
That makes a very good inspiration to get things done.
And trying my best to make said deadline while recovering from said anxiety attack. That's been a lot of fun.
I know that scenario all too well.
So that's basically been my inspiration for the week. The deadline looks like I will be making said deadline.
Hooray!
I'm very happy about that.
Hopefully we don't distract you too much from deadline this weekend.
Well, the deadline's tomorrow, so no.
Well then.
Good thing I never have deadlines at work.
Well, moving along so Calvin can get to said deadline, how about Ed?
Well, for me, it was mostly just being poked a lot by my Tumblr followers. They don't like to leave me alone if they know I'm having a bad day or something. So,
Shout
I
out
got
to
poked
all
a
the
lot.
Tumblr followers.
yes, I got poked a lot. A lot.
Well, like I said earlier, no bad times allowed. It's in your contracts.
I make no guarantees.
CJ, I wanted to point out that I haven't finished writing the contracts, nor has anyone actually signed them.
You're not supposed to say that.
I just wanted to make that clear for legal purposes.
Richie, cut that part out.
What? Richie is the best. He's my favorite person. He would never cut this part out.
Snip.
We'll see what happens in the final cut.
Hey, verbal agreements can be just as binding as written ones.
That is not true.
They are when they're recorded.
That is not legally binding in any way. It's why people can talk about smoking weed on their podcasts, because there's no legal precedent for audio recordings.
Just what are you doing while you're on the show?
Listening to other podcasts where they do that? No, everyone knows that I drink copious amounts of alcohol while I'm doing the show.
I just drink copious amounts of tea, although I'm out. And I don't want to turn the kettle on because it is absurdly loud. And it's, like, right here, just off screen.
I found that if I drink caffeine too late at night, the melatonin that I take to actually attempt to fall asleep doesn't work at all. It's like the caffeine blocks the receptors that the melatonin is supposed to go into in my brain, and it does not work. So I try not to drink caffeine after like
So it's like drinking something designed to keep you awake is preventing something that's designed to make you fall asleep from working.
Now, I know what you're getting at, and I agree. However, I thought they may cancel each other out and put me into like some sort of like fugue state, but the melatonin didn't do anything. I might as well have not even taken it. I was still high from the double cappuccino the double espresso that I had at like 7 at night. That may have had something to do with it.
That's odd. Double espressos put me to sleep.
Overload.
That's probably it.
My wife also falls asleep to coffee. It's annoying as.
Well, before Justin gets in trouble for such statements, let's move on to the next segment.
I think she's in the other room. I think we're safe. Muse food.
Yes, Muse food. Let's see. And then we highlight that particular screen so our viewers can see this. For our audio listeners, fcwriters.com, go to the Muse food section. The latest one is always on the homepage, but we have the entire archive there. Every week we provide a series of one-line writing prompts, one-word writing prompts, a combination of Rory's story cubes for visual prompts, and the second page contains a musical prompt and an artistic prompt. And we have 5 people on this week, so everyone gets a segment whether they like it or not. And no technical difficulties in dropping out all of a sudden. You're all stuck with me.
I'll do the musical prompt so that CJ can help me and laugh when I say everything completely wrong.
What?
I think it'll be funny and good pod.
I'll take the one-worders, as I haven't done them in forever and a day.
I'll take the one-liners.
Will and Ed get to battle it out for the last 2.
I was gonna say I was on mute and I was gonna take the one-liners, but whatever.
Womp womp.
I'll take whatever's left.
Story cubes or artistic prompt?
Actually, can I take the artistic one? I have to.
I'll take the cubes.
I don't think you have a choice.
I have to. Hold on.
Well, let's roll through it normally. So, one-liners first.
All right, one-liners are as follows. Reaching for the stars means nothing if you're not willing to build the spaceship to get there. I like that one. This music is unnecessarily creepy. Play it louder. It's not a problem so long as no one opens this door. You're not going to regain trust overnight. How do you have an igloo next to your fireplace?
That was good insulation.
I'm not checking downstairs. You check downstairs. Let's just give him one flat tire this time. This is not the exit. She is the type of person to have 3 shadows. And your cat sat on my hat. Your one-liners for this week.
That second to last one is going to bother me now because at the time I knew it was very clever and I had a really fun idea to play with it, but now I have no idea what the context was. And it just confuses me. That's what I get for not writing it down. Okay, your one-word writing prompts for this week are rattle, someone, pose, granted, flexible, early, rub, accomplish, coven, and lighter. Make of those what you will.
All right, and our Rory's story cubes, as interpreted by me this week, are a footprint, specifically of a right foot of a human, or perhaps Bigfoot. A pyramid, mostly resembling the style you would find in Egypt. a closed bag, perhaps containing coins, string, a 4, a face who looks rather saddened or concerned or disconcerted, certainly not happy, but I'm assuming to be an apple, could be a peach, some form of fruit, a telescope, a crescent moon, an arrow pointing up and then to the right, and then a t-shirt on a clothesline out to dry in the sun. And those are the cubes for this week.
I like to think of the crescent moon as a discarded toenail.
It could be a discarded toenail.
Maybe
That
that's
would
why
explain
the
why that person's sad.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
Hey, minds think alike.
If something can be discarded, can it be carded?
Undiscarded? Pro-pre-anti-discard? I don't know. Good question. Musical prompts. Okay, I'm gonna try it, the whole thing. Don't tell me if I'm wrong until the end, and then we can go over it together.
Okay.
This is a bass clef. It is whole note C, whole note E, quarter note D, half note D, and whole note G.
You got the letters right.
Damn it. Is it the other way around? Is the whole circle a whole note?
Yes.
Oh.
The one you actually got correct was half note D.
Oh, so I had those backwards. Great. But I knew it was a bass clef.
Treble.
I'm pretty sure that's treble.
I mean treble, yeah. Is that what I said? The first time? I'm learning to read music.
An easy mnemonic to remember is the clef that looks like a G is treble.
That's not a great mnemonic device.
Never mind.
It is also referred to as a G clef, whereas the bass is a C clef, and it kind of looks like a C with a colon.
Yep, I'm familiar with what the other clef looks like.
And I can never remember what the alto clef looks like, because that one's just silly.
I didn't know there was another one. And what time signature is this, anyways?
Whatever
I don't know
time
what I'm talking
signature you
about.
want it to be.
It's 4/4.
Same with whatever key you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap! Moving forward.
All right, so I have the artistic prompt,
Mm.
and I had to go get help for this one. In the form of a certain useless kernel, our artistic prompt this week is useless no more. And I have to do something with this, so this weekend I may. But yeah, I needed help for that one. But that's why I wanted it so bad.
I think it's because someone submitted just useless in our submission process thing, and the first thing that came to mind was Mustang.
Yes!
But then I had to change it up a little bit. He has to have a good day every once in a while.
Yeah, the day that Riza shaved that mustache off his face.
But yes, those are your creative prompts for this week. Make of those what you will. And if you happen to create anything based off of these prompts, we would love to see it. You can email us a copy or the URL where we can check it out to our email address, which is wordninja@fcwriters.com. Conveniently located at the bottom of each Muse Food PDF for easy reference. And with that, we are done with all the main segments for this episode, so it's about time to wrap things up, especially seeing as we're almost hitting the 2-hour mark, or we're getting there. And I know how cranky people get once we hit the 2-hour mark. I know, we're getting there. Okay, wrapping things up. Upcoming events. Your Minicon is this weekend in 3 days. 2 if you count the funky after party thing that happens before the actual convention thing. It's
so
weird.
that's why they keep saying it starts on the 16th. Okay.
Yeah, they have an after-hours party before the convention actually kicks off, which
Smart.
the semantics of that confuse me a little bit, but whatever. It's in Meriden, Connecticut, this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you can make it, we would love to see you there. Come say hello. A lot of our various vendor friends are going to be there as well, so be sure to say hello to them as well if you can. We have Book Expo, Kineticon, and Inconceivable on the docket for the rest of the year so far, and a couple others that we're figuring out logistics for press versus vendor versus whatever. We'll see. Check the show notes and the website for any updates as they come. If we entertained you in any way, shape, or form in the last approximate 2 hours, a little bit under, hour 40 minutes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching this, you already found it. If you're listening to this, it is youtube.com/something or other. Search for Full Coverage Writers.
And it's probably also mid-2018 if you're listening to this.
I was aiming for 2017. Come on. Give me a little credit here. If you want to deal with us on social media,
God help you.
yeah, Twitter at FC Word Ninja. Bonus points if you use the hashtag WordNinjas. You can follow us on Tumblr, fcwordninja.tumblr.com, Facebook, facebook.com/fullcoveragewriters. Converse with us, talk to us, continue the conversations we have in the talkie points and other stuff that we do. We like to talk to you peoples. You are entertaining. And if you want to help fund all of our crazy various endeavors and help us get moonshine that we can taste and go to other conventions and do crazy stuff, go check out our Etsy store, which I did not put the convenient link or a full URL in there for me to read when I'm doing this, because why would I do that?
Because I can do it off the top of my head.
Yeah, Etsy's Ed's domain. How about Ed does this part?
Okay, it's www.etsy.com/shop/full-coverage-writers. And just so you guys know, until the end of January, we are doing free shipping on orders over $50 or more. So get all of your goodies now, and you might be able to get free shipping.
Buy one of everything.
Exactly.
Yes.
And for our viewers, I highlighted the Etsy page so you can actually see all the buttons and bookmarks and plushies and booklets and other things starting with a B that are on there. All sorts of goodies. Go check it out.
And I have added the pamphlet for actual physical buying. You don't have to get it as an e-document anymore if you don't want to.
Ooh. Someone's been busy.
I told you!
And what else do we got? As always, this show is compiled by Full Coverage Writers, a repository of resources for writers. We have the entire backlog episodes of Word Ninjas Live. We have all of the MuseFood archives. We have author, publisher, artist interviews. We have convention event stuffs. We have all sorts of crazy things on there, and we keep on adding more. So definitely go check it out. Come back regularly, because there's always going to be something new. Just it's fcwriters.com. And in the show notes, we also list all the various fun people we've had on our show and have interacted with. So go check them out. I was going to say go patronize them, but that sounds odd in that phrasing. Go check them out. Be a patron to them. There we go. And I can't do the full attributions from that because I compiled it all somewhere else. So now I actually have to go to the show notes. Dang it. All right. If you want to track me down personally, God help you, easiest
I
way...
already made that joke earlier.
Yeah, well, I'm stealing it. Damn it. My personal Tumblr is fancypantswolf.tumblr.com. I'm slowly building up my novel Tumblr, slashandburntrilogy.tumblr.com. it's mostly just reference stuff so that I remember what I want to do with my various characters, but who knows what I'll add to it. You can also see me on the Fairy Tale Podcast as Makarov on Monday nights, 10 p.m. time on their YouTube channel. Twitter is at silver_wolf85. I'm slowly trying to revive that again, because why not? And various other methods are on the About Us page over at fcwriters.com. And how about Will? Where can people find you?
Mostly you can find me on my Tumblr page at darkhom.tumblr.com. That is spelled DARKHOM. It is a personal blog, though, so I post and reblog whatever I feel like. You can also check out my story-related blog at myroommatesastripper.tumblr.com. Recommended 18+ for that one.
And where can people find Justin?
If you want to follow my shenanigans right now, the closest thing I have up and running is probably my personal website, mechanicaljustin.com. I'm just about done coding it up, so then I can start regularly posting on it. I've got a bunch of pending posts ready to go. Once I get the formatting of the thing done, I decided to actually code my own theme because I'm crazy. And the other stuff is way further off than that, so hooray.
And how about the Calvin?
The only thing I've used actively in the last 2 weeks or so is Instagram. Find me at CCWII. I'll get to everything else some other time.
And rounding us out for episode 74 is Ed, who is muted.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I never know when his mic is on or not because he uses the button on the mic. So, okay. So for me, probably about the easiest place to find me is on my various Tumblr haunts. Either my Multi-Muse Hideout, which is mostly my writing. I have started one for my creativity stuff, which is eMidnight Designs. Goes along with my personal personal Etsy store. And of course my personal, where I post anything. It's Ed Kuhn with triple X's on both ends of it. Probably makes it, if you're looking for how to spell it, show notes. It's easier. Outside of that, that's usually where the easiest and fastest way to find me. I do poke about on DA once in a while. It's been pretty quiet there, though, so like I said, poke me on Tumblr. It's fast. It's easy. It works.
And to all our viewers and listeners, definitely check all of those various social media links, because I have a feeling most of us are going to be posting all sorts of crazy shenanigans during your mini-con this weekend. So you can see all the various trouble we get into. As I'm sure we will. Because it's always dangerous when all 5 of us actually get together in the same place.
Going to a thing.
Okay. Stop with the distractions. Closing out the show before we hit 2 hours. That is episode 74 of Word Ninjas Live. Tune in next Wednesday night for episode 75. I have no idea what we're going to do for that one, but it's a fun number, so I'm sure we'll figure something out that'll be nice and fun. But until then, have a good week, everyone. Good night.
See ya.